Hello YouTube, I'm the J-Bahn, and I'm currently in Baltimore at the intersection of Lexington and Gulford. It's hard to imagine today, but before 1950, this was the starting point for Baltimore's elevated railway. So come along as I show you what the line was like and what happened to it.
Our story begins in the early 1890s. Baltimore, like all big cities of this era, was seeing an explosion of new electric streetcar lines, operated by various different private companies. One such company, the Lake Roland Electric Railway, wanted to bring their streetcars into downtown from the north of the city. But there was a problem. All the north-south streets in downtown were already occupied by other streetcar lines. Except for one. Guilford Avenue, on the east side of downtown, was being used not by streetcars, but by the Pennsylvania Railroad to connect its main line, here, to Calvert Street Station, here. The solution? Build a viaduct to carry the streetcars above the railroad and the street. The Guilford Avenue Elevated opened in 1893, the first electrified elevated railway in America, beating out the West Side Elevated in Chicago by 2 years. Now we have some context. It's time for a walking tour along the route of the former elevated railway. We'll begin at the former south end of the viaduct north of Lexington Street. Here, the streetcars climbed onto the elevated and crossed Saratoga Street. This is Guilford and Saratoga today. The east side of the street has been bulldozed for a parking lot and garage. On the other hand, a new apartment building has gone up here too, and the city has installed bus lanes for the yellow route of the CityLink frequent bus network. 1 block further north, the streetcars stopped at an elevated station at Pleasant Street. As shown by this map, this was one of 3 stations on the elevated. The other 2 were at Center Street and Madison Street. These overhead views were taken from the Orleans Street Bridge, which is still here today, though the views from the top are quite different. This is also the location of the aforementioned Calvert Street Station. Closed in 1948, it was soon demolished to make way for the new Baltimore Sun newspaper offices. Today, it is the site of Mercy Hospital. The elevated would soon go the way of Calvert Street Station. As we approach the location of the second station, Center Street, we can see what has taken the place of the elevated.
The irony is, the elevated is still here, just in the form of the highway.
Today, the east side of Guilford Avenue abuts the Jones Fall Expressway, part of Interstate 83. With the highway here, this is an extremely pleasant place to be. Unbearably loud, devoid of any human activity, only useful as a makeshift parking lot. The other side of the highway is even worse. Cut off from downtown, it's just detention facilities and a sea of parking. Go figure. No one wants a big highway standing between their home and downtown. We're now approaching Madison Street, the location of the third and final station on the L. At this point, Guilford Avenue begins to climb out of the Jones Falls Valley, while I-83 and, in the past, the Pennsylvania Railroad continued in the valley. Hence, this was where the elevated ended, as the streetcars could return to mixed traffic. Ultimately, the elevated was nothing more than an anomaly in Baltimore's streetcar history, more a glorified overpass than a rapid transit line. And so, as Baltimore streetcars were replaced with buses after World War II, the need for the elevated disappeared. It was closed in 1950 and demolished soon after. As we come to the end of our tour, we get a glimpse into what this area used to be like, a neighborhood of compact row houses with human-scale side streets. These are the foundations we need to build upon to create a better future for the city of Baltimore.